Shadow Secretary of State.
Madam Deputy Speaker, this government has moved seamlessly from arrogance to incompetence and now cowardice. 3.7 million people are being denied the right to vote. It was the government that rushed a huge programme of local government reorganisation, imposing new structures, imposing timetables, and it is the government that is failing to deliver them. And rather than take responsibility for its own failure, the Secretary of State has chosen to dump the consequences of their incompetence onto the laps of local councils. The government's own election strategy said, and I quote, "The right to participate in our democracy should not be taken for granted." Cancelling elections was not part of that strategy. The Electoral Commission has been clear that the scheduled elections should go ahead as planned and that capacity constraints are not a legitimate reason for delay. So, why was the Electoral Commission not consulted on these cancellations? Why is this being done at the last possible moment? And does the government accept the Gould principle that at least 6 months' notice should be given for any changes to election administration? Ministers say they are following the wishes of local councils. And the minister said at the dispatch box that the Secretary of State has written, amongst others, to Essex County Council. But the leader of Essex County Council has been clear that these elections should go ahead. And yet, the Secretary of State still cites Essex, amongst others, to justify the cancellations. And it's all well and good for the Secretary of State to write to the councils basically asking them the same question, but they have already given an answer. So, when does the Secretary of State intend to lay the SIs for these areas? Does he think that it is appropriate to use secondary legislation under the Local Government Act? Did Parliament really allow ministers to run scared and cancel elections at will? Madam Deputy Speaker, I've always said these elections should go ahead, but the Secretary of State was the one that called these elections pointless. So why does he not have the courage of his own convictions, take responsibility for his own ineptitude and stop laying the blame on local councils?